Hey guys, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, and I am doing today what my friend Ryan Duvall over at RD's Drone Reviews calls a tabletop review to begin with here for the B12 Electronics Image Stabilization Drone. This is an MJX drone, and I'm pretty impressed with what I see so far. So I want to point out, just wanted to show you the box. It is a 4K drone at 30 frames per second. It does not have a gimbal, but it does have electronic image stabilization. It's got 50 times digital zoom, which anybody that knows digital zoom on these sub $200 drones is probably not the best, but nevertheless it has it. It does have an optical flow sensor underneath, which is good for about 3 meters above the ground, and then of course GPS and map. And you have to have a 5G phone to be able to use it, that uses that 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi connection. So I guess I do want to point out that it does use the MRC Pro app to fly the drone. So let's quit messing around and let me show you how the drone is presented in the box. MJX just does such a good job on packaging for this price category, this sub $200 drone category. So it's got a box with a magnetic opening here. Let's get it open. And right at the top here, you can see there's an envelope. MJX does such a good job with their documentation. As you can see here, you get a quick start guide and then you get a manual. And I want to point out that it is large and it's easy to read and it's well written. You know, a lot of the times you get these manuals on this category of drones, and some of the English can be difficult to read. This is very well written, very easy to understand. So kudos to MJX for that. So they always throw in a bunch of decals that you could throw on your drone if you want. So there's the packaging itself, and I think they really do an extraordinary job. This kind of belies the price point of this drone. So let's just quickly go over what you get here. So the controller, see if I can get it out here. It is this is kind of a standard MJX controller that you'll see on a lot of their drones. It's got a couple handles that come down, and the antenna here, if I can open it up, it is a real antenna. At least this one on the left is. You can see a wire going into that. The one on the right, I think, is just there for looks. You don't see any wire going up into it. You've got the camera button, the lock unlock button. This is the on off switch, return to home switch. That is for switching it into or out of GPS. We're going to just switch that on right now so we don't forget it. And this is to change the speed mode and to turn on the LED light that's underneath it. And then this is obviously takeoff and landing. And this one right here is on the, well, I guess if you've got it like this, it's going to be on your right side. That controls the camera up and down. And this one is just locked. That doesn't do anything. It's got a thumb wheel there, but there's no function to it. And then also it does use AA batteries that go in that compartment right there. So also here's where you put your mobile device. This pulls out and this little guy flips up here and you just fit it in right there. Then the battery for this drone, it is a obviously lithium polymer 3400 milliamp battery, and I don't believe it's a smart battery. You do charge it with a USB-C charger. A charger is not included, so you've got to use your own charger to charge them. And they say it takes about 5 hours to charge one of these batteries, and that's true. You better plan in advance before you take this out and plan on leaving it plugged in for a while. The lights will light up progressively as it charges, and when all 4 lights are on, it's fully charged. And then that is the on-off switch when you've got it in the drone. Then the drone itself. Let's pull this guy out. And as you can see, I haven't messed around with this much yet. I've got to take some of the stickers off and so forth. So let's go ahead and spread the wings on this guy and take a look at it. And I can tell you those arms pull out. They have a good solid feel to them and they lock into place well. So So the battery just slips in, and it's got 2 buttons on the side, and you want to make sure that you hear those click real well and check it out. Yeah, I mean, brushless motors, the props actually screw on. These are not removable. You have to screw each one of them on. They are foldable, which is interesting. The Bugs 20, they were not foldable props, and I always attributed that to their attempt to make the props more balanced to help stabilize the video. So we'll see how this turns out. But it's a nice looking drone here. You can see that is and I haven't taken all the stickers off of it yet, but that's the optical flow sensor right there. Those are LED lights at the bottom. So that's the SD card slot right there, and you're going to want to use at minimum a class 10. I would recommend a U3 SD card to be on the safe side, because this does shoot in 4K, and you want it to be able to write quickly to that card. So real quickly here, we'll take a look at the camera. As you can see, I've not taken the sticker off of that yet too, but I can touch this camera and I can see that it's rubber mounted in there, and that is so that it will reduce vibration and not have any jello in the video. So I'm looking forward to taking it out and trying that out. And the camera does tilt down, so you can control the angle of the camera while you have it in flight. So I'm anxious to get this guy out and try that out and see how stable that video is. Let's take a look at some of the specs for this guy. So I should also point out, in the bag you get spare props. I'm not going to pull them out. You've got A and B props, and then you have another bag that has a USB cable and a screwdriver in it. So obviously the screwdriver is how you're going to, if you want to replace props, how you're going to put those props on there. I would recommend you check those for tightness before your first flight. So let's talk a little bit about some of the specifications for the B12. It's got a flight time of 22 minutes, it says. Max flight limit of 120 meters. Well, that makes sense because that's maximum legal. It says level 4 wind resistance, so I think that would be up to about 16 miles an hour, something like that. I would have to look that up to tell you exactly. But it does have 2204 brushless motors. The remote control distance, it says, is 600 meters. The image transmission range is 450 meters. And the camera, of course, is adjustable from 0, so pointed straight forward, to 90 degrees, so straight down. Max photo resolution is 3840 by 2860. Max video resolution is the same, 2840 by 2160. You have to watch out. A lot of drones in this category, they'll call it a 4K drone. It's for photos only, and you'll find out that the video is only 1080p. This one is true 4K video, so that's worth talking about. And again, it does tell you that you can use up to 128 gigabyte memory card in it. I suspect I would put a 32 in it myself, or maybe a 64. But it does, and we talked about this earlier, 3400 milliamp battery. The product weight is 549 grams, so you will want to put your FAA registration number on there, your sticker on the drone. So, gosh, I think we should take it out in the field now and try it out. Okay, so I've got I've got the drone fired up. So one of the first things we need to do is get it connected to the Wi-Fi. And so hopefully on my settings here, I will see, holy cow, look at all these. There's drone 4E right down there in the middle. People name some interesting things to the, there's a lot of Wi-Fi here, you can see that. Unable to join. Okay. Okay, so we clicked on the drone 4E, and it looks like it's connecting. Yeah, I think what happened earlier is the drone had been sitting there on so long that it shut down. So we're connected now, and it should find that connection from here on out. You do that the first time, and then when you fire up the drone, if you're using the same phone, it'll find it every time after that. So next, we're going to turn on the controller here, and that is as simple as sliding this switch right here. and we'll see if it connects. And usually it's bound from the factory, but that doesn't appear to be the case this time. So I believe what I have to do then, I am going to turn it off again, and I'm going to hold down the lock button and turn on the switch. And I think that puts it in pairing mode for us. And it did not. Evidently the drone shuts down pretty quickly, so let's try that one more time. Yeah, and then now we're connected. So what happened is the drone had been sitting there long enough that it shut down. So we're connected now. And on my screen, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it, but I have a little drone in the corner there that's flashing. That tells me it needs a compass calibration, and we're going to do that right now. That's as simple as 3 turns one direction and 3 turns facing down. And I do have solid lights on the drone now, so we're good. So the other way that you can tell is the light goes off on the corner of the on the display on the controller here. So now we need to do the gyro calibration. So what we're going to do is we're just simply going to hold both sticks down and to the left, and we'll see that little icon beeping again. And as soon as it goes solid, we'll know that it's done, or it goes away. So it did. So it's set up. So that really should be all of the calibrations we need. I need to start my screen recording again here. Let's go into the app real quick, and that is the MRC Pro app. And we're going to go in and click start. It's got an introduction for beginners, but we're going to click right through that. And yeah, I would like to connect to your local network. We're going to say okay. And look at that, we've got FPV right off the bat. So let's take a look at, we are in sport mode already, in high speed mode. We have 18 satellites. Gosh, it looks like it's ready to go. I'm going to start recording now. And we can tell we're recording because we can see the countdown timer on the top right hand side of the screen there. And you see the little square in the record area there. So let's go ahead and look at our camera. Can't be set up in recording, so let's turn recording off. We'll do that on screen this time. Let's make sure that I want to make sure we're on 4K 30 already, and it is talking there again about the Smooth Max electronic image stabilization, so that's awesome. So let's go ahead and start recording again. And I did that again on the app just by tapping it. And gosh, I don't see any reason why we can't take off. To unlock the motors, it's just a short press of this the button with the red padlock on it. And there you see the motors fire up. And then if I click this button back here, it'll take off. And there we go. Look at that. It's hanging right there, no drop, nothing, very, very stable. I'm just telling you, I really appreciate the stability that MJX builds into these drones. There again, this is a sub $200 drone, and that was a pretty darn quick yaw because we are in high speed mode. So let's see if we can take it down to slow mode. Yeah, so that put us, you can see on the screen there, that put us in low speed, what they call tripod mode. So that should be a little better. So let's bring it in here. And boy, you know, not many drones of this toy grade category would I bring in that close to the camera. But let's rock it back and forth a little bit. Now what you won't see is a gimbal moving, right? We've got electronic image stabilization, and I'm looking at it on the screen here, and it's looking pretty darn good. It seems to be, you know, from what I can see on FPV, I'm not seeing any jello or any problems. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start out with, like I usually do with a droney. So I'm going to take off a little bit different direction than where the camera's pointed. We're going to put it back in high speed mode for that. And so we're in high-speed mode. Now, what you'll see happen is when I go reverse and up, because of the pitch of the drone itself, you'll see that the camera won't be looking exactly where we want it to. But that's okay, because we want to do it fairly quick. So here we go, reverse and up now. So like I said there, you know, I'm looking at FPV here and all you're seeing is sky, but here I'll cut off and look what happens. So then it drops. So when you're in high speed mode, the electronic image stabilization, and let's see if we can drop that camera down a little bit. We do have a control. Yeah, there, worked pretty good. And we see a little bit of that fisheye effect in the lens. It is a fairly wide angle lens. But take a look here. It looks, I mean, I can tell you on my FPV screen, it looks pretty darn good. So let's go for a quick run around and again, we're in high speed mode. So as I give it throttle, you're going to see it pitch down here. And you could adjust that with the, you could adjust the camera angle if you wanted, but I want you guys to see how this works. So we're not going to get too carried away. And then as soon as I let off the throttle, you saw it pitch up there. So we're turning around. We're going to go the other direction. Let's come back and let's head towards the pond over here. And the yaw is fairly quick. Like I said, I'm in high speed mode right now. And then you see it pitch down when I give it throttle, right? Because that's the drone pitching down, and the electronic image stabilization just can't keep up at that. And I'm looking at the drone, it's moving right along. We're at almost 8 meters per second, so it's moving pretty good. Okay, so let's stop right there and let's bring it back towards us, and we'll try some of this stuff in lower speed, and you can see exactly how the image stabilization works. Okay, so I'm going to put it back into low speed mode here. Again, that's by holding that left button down, or right button. So we're in tripod mode now, which is the low speed mode. And let's give it full throttle, and you're going to see it go maybe 1 meter per second, a little over than, pretty darn slow. And that's me yawing it there. What I noticed is that the yaw speed stays the same, whether you're in high speed or low speed. So let's drop some altitude. As does altitude, it's that forward motion that speed button changes. So I want to bring it down here and let you see what we're talking about. And I got a car going by right now. What we're talking about with low speed mode here. Okay, let's bring it in. And we'll just fly it around here. And that is, so we're about 1.5 meters per second there. And you can see me standing there. But what you'll see here is that we have good, stable video. It's not moving around, and that's that electronic image stabilization network. And one of the things that this drone does is it uses its own processor. A lot of times you'll see these lower priced drones, they'll say that they have electronic image stabilization, but what they're actually doing is they're using the processor in your mobile device to do that. So you can see it looks really good in this kind of work here, and I need to turn around so that I'm facing the drone with the antenna. Very, very impressive for a drone in this price category. And what we don't want to do is run into one of these light poles or something, but as you can see, there is a little bit of lag in the FPV. There again, you know, that's kind of what I would expect at a drone in this category. Let's gain a little altitude here. Right over the top of these trees. And I'll tell you, this thing flies very nicely. I do see we have a little bit of a crooked horizon, so I'm going to raise the camera up so that you can see that. Whoops, I went in the wrong direction. So the horizon is just a little bit crooked. There again, I can kind of forgive that in a drone of this price range. I'm yawing it back and forth to see if that'll help, but yeah, it's a little bit of a crooked horizon there. Although I've seen worse on much more expensive drones. So let's head back out over the field. And we have, you know, we're right in the middle of, we got the sun is very low on the horizon because we're in late October and we're starting to get that winter sun. Okay, I'm going to grab some altitude here. Let's run it on up about, let's get it up there a ways. Let's go up about 50 meters or so. And I'm going to put it back into high-speed mode. And let's go out towards the corner of the park here. We're going to test a little bit of range. I'm adjusting the yaw a little bit to kind of see if I can get right to the corner. So there we go, and you saw the drone immediately pitch over there. We don't want to go over those people, so we're going to move a little bit to the left and then back to the right. And again, you could see some FPV break up there a little bit. And we're out about 150 meters. Let's see if we can get 200 meters. Yeah, so there's 200 meters. I don't want to push our luck too far here. Let's drop the camera down a little. That's that new Costco that actually opens on Saturday. Let's push a little bit further forward here. This is actually further than I was able to get the Bugs 20 to go. So we, you know, got a good signal. We're 250 meters. Let's get angled on the Costco here. Excuse me, I'm trying to lift the camera up. I get confused on this camera and I push it the wrong way. And you notice it looks like our horizon is kind of straightened out there a little bit. So I'm going to stop recording. I'm doing that on the app. And let's take a picture here. This should be a 4K picture as well. So I should just be able to do a short press on the controller here and take a picture. Yeah, photo taken successfully. That's great. So let's start recording again, and let's go the other direction. See if I can yaw around here. Yeah, and boy, did I yaw. So what I had was enough delay there that I kind of over yawed. So you know, when I was talking about delay and FPV, that's what I meant. Yeah, so we lost connection there. We got an intermittent connection. Yeah, there it's back. Okay, let's go to the other side of the park here. I'm going full stick forward. And we're going to go to the other corner of the park and we're going to see if we can take a picture over there as well too. Yeah, so I'm losing telemetry there. I let off. Yeah, no signal. Okay, let's try this a little bit more here. We're actually closer to us. Yeah, we're kind of at the edge of our range here. So let me see if I can yaw a little bit, and we'll see if we can take a picture of the Boise front. Yeah, we're going in and out of connection. 223 meters away. I'm going to hit return to home on the controller. Yeah, it's coming back. Yeah, so it came back. So I don't know if it went into return to home on its own or what. You can see my screen is still frozen here. So let's see how quickly we get it. I'm holding the controller up here, and it is, I believe it's coming down now. Yeah, I can hear it descending. So this will give us an opportunity to see how close it gets to the landing pad. Kind of interesting that we do not, that it did not reconnect to the controller once it got close here. So it looks like it's connected, excuse me, I should restate that. It is connected to the controller. It's the app that is not showing us anything. It's not the controller, it's the app. And it's slowly coming down here. It's pretty close. Oh, there, look, we got it back. Yeah. So it had to, it got pretty close to us before it got back, and I was pointing the antenna right up at it. So, yeah, it's coming down. It's going to be fairly close to the to the landing pad here. Look at this. This is going to be real close. So there, it's about a foot off of the pad. So that's kind of interesting. Hey, we still have lots of battery, so no reason not to take off again. So let's go ahead and take off. And again, I'm just going to do a short press on that little padlock button. That fires up the motors, and then one push of the button on the back here, and it takes off. So I guess what I'm going to tell you is you probably are going to want to stay within about 150 meters with this guy. Now, I'm also going to add that I'm in an area here where there's a lot of Wi-Fi interference. You saw all the Wi-Fi that we were looking at. Guess I could bring the drone in here so we can talk to the drone. You saw all the Wi-Fi that we were looking at when we were hooking it up, so there's a lot of Wi-Fi interference here. But in an area like this, I think we can safely say that you're going to get about, roughly 150 meters or so of reliable FPV and control connection. Now, if you're out in the field someplace where there's not a lot of Wi-Fi interference, I'm sure you'll do a lot better. So let's try a few tricks that this guy can do here. So I'm going to go up and back it up, and again, because we're in high speed mode, you're going to see that camera move around. So let's try, and as I recall, you have to set the radius on an orbit before you, yeah, so it's given as soon as it gets down to about half battery, you're going to see here, the drone will not fly now any further than 100 meters out or 30 meters high, and we're well within that. I wish you could stop that beeping, but I'm not sure how to do that. But let's go ahead and try an orbit flight. And it'll start an orbit here. And yeah, it's starting its orbit. And unfortunately, what I forgot about is that you have to set the orbit radius before you take off. Once you're moving, you can't do it. So, but it's doing a good orbit here. Let's lower the camera so you can see. You get a shot at that orbit, and it's doing a nice, perfect circle up there. So the follow me function, we'll see if we can do that. I want it up high enough here. So let's go back in there and let's stop that. So I am going to get some altitude. And let's see, I'm a little concerned about putting it in follow me mode, but let's try it here. And let's see what it does. Yeah, it's not moving. I don't think I did that correctly. Let's try that again. Yeah, no, I know I didn't do it correctly because I haven't got green on here. So follow me. Yeah, it's going to come home. So we're not going to get to try the follow me function. But it is the same as how it works on the Bugs 20, and it's a GPS follow me. Okay, let's see how close it gets this time. And it's coming down, as you can see. And again, it's going to be pretty darn close. I was trying to pick the camera up and I went the wrong direction. I'm always going the wrong direction with the camera on this guy. And it is landing, and again, you can see it's about right about where it took off, right next to the pad there. So there you have it. So let's stop that beeping. And one of the things that you also don't want to forget to do is to turn off recording, because if you don't, and you just shut off the drone, you'll end up with a corrupted file or a file that's not closed. So we're going to turn that off, and let me shut everything down so we don't get this beeping. Okay, we've got the app going again here, and let's take this guy out in the field, and let's try that follow me mode out. So let's go ahead and start recording. And I've got it facing towards us this time, or no, excuse me, I've got it facing away from us. And we're going to hit the button to start the motors. And hit that takeoff again. And there we go. Okay guys, we're heading out into the field. And I'm walking out into the field behind the drone here. And we're going to try that follow me mode around. Now, the reason that I am intent to do it out in the field here is because when this drone does not have any kind of obstacle avoidance. And it's a GPS follow me, so it's following the GPS of your phone or of the controller. And so what you don't want to do is walk it into the side of a tree or something like that. So let's bring the drone back down. I need to yaw around just a little bit. Okay, so sorry, I've got 3 things I'm doing with my hands right now. Let's go back in there. Let's hit the follow me function. And I think I got it here. Yeah, so you can see, and again, I'm in high speed mode, so you see the drone pitching. I don't know if I'm holding the camera up behind me here, so hopefully that'll catch part of it, but it's following me. Doing just as you would expect. And again, what I'm going to warn you about is if you're around any trees or buildings or anything, you got to be careful, because you could walk the drone right into the side of a tree, because it's just following the GPS on the phone here. Yeah, so that works. Let's, we've shown that works, so let's get out of that. And it does have headless mode here, but we're not going to mess with that today. Headless mode just keeps that, no matter which way you have the drone pointed, if you push up, it'll go away from you on the right stick. If you push back, it'll come back to you. So let's raise the camera up a little. Shoot, I always go the wrong way. And I wanted to get a picture out here of the Boise front, and I'm closer to it out here in the field. Oh gosh, and I just noticed my antenna were kind of messed up there. That could have been part of my problem before. So let's head out here towards the corner of the park. And I should have good signal here. This thing goes pretty darn good when you're in high speed mode. So you can fly it around fairly quickly. There again, you know, great. We got 19 satellites here. I mean, this is awesome. Okay. And I hear an aircraft, so I'm getting my eyes on him. He is way above us and way behind us. Okay, so let's boy, that little touchy on that yaw on the camera. But let's see if we can take a picture. And you know what? I wonder, I'm going to try and do it without stopping video. Let's see what happens if I press that button. And it did. It took a photo successfully and continued to record. That is pretty cool. That's darn cool. So there we got a picture that way, and you can take a look at the fall colors. So let's take the opportunity to fly this guy around a little bit. I'm telling you that I'm like I said, I'm trying to hold the camera in one hand and fly too, so it's a little difficult. And there you can see me off to the left of the screen. You can see where I'm standing. Let's kind of head towards the corner here, and there again, boy oh boy, quick yaw. They're planting some trees there, so we're not going to go over the top of them, but we can take a look at what they're doing. Okay, so then as it comes to a stop, and let's let it settle down, and let's drop that camera down, and let's take a picture. So there's a picture. Pick the camera back up. And again, I push the dial the wrong direction. And let's go into low speed mode. There I just went, yeah, there we go. I did get it in low speed mode, so let's turn around and come back. We'll head back towards the where I've got the car parked, and I'll head that direction as well. This will give you a shot at some of the fall colors. And you know, it's going about 1.5 meters per second. Not the fastest in this mode, but it will get there. And then you get that perfectly stabilized video. So I'm going to let off the stick right now. I'm full stick forward now. I'm going to let the stick off completely. And you can see, well, it moved a little bit, but that's that image stabilization, stabilizing that picture. So we're going to do that again. We're going to go full forward and then full reverse. So full stick forward. Let's get it up to 1.5 meters per second. And then I'm going to go full backwards now. And it moved just ever so slightly. So that's that image stabilization at work. And it looks like it's working really well. Okay, pardon me for a second. I need to get my tripod set back up. Okay, I picked the landing pad up when we were out messing around there. So I don't know if it's in exactly the same position, but let's bring her in again and reduce some altitude. And again, it's awful slow, but it sure keeps the picture stable. And like I said, in this price point of a drone, I just think that is awesome. Okay, let's see if we can successfully do a manual arc with this thing. It is the yaw is a little bit quick on this guy, but let's try it. See if we can arc around here. And we are. I'll tell you, you barely touch that left stick to get it to rotate though. But this is kind of a test of the stability of this drone. Not bad. Okay, let's do a droney. Let's just for the fun of it, let's try it in the tripod mode and see what happens. So what I've noticed is it gains altitude a lot faster than it moves. But still, that doesn't look too bad. And of course, I'm trying to keep it above the trees here, so I'm keeping a pretty good close eye on it. Okay, that's far enough. Okay, one more time, I'm going to demonstrate that sport mode for you, because I think it's important that you note the difference in what it's capable of in tripod mode, in slow mode, and in quick mode, fast mode, sport mode they call it. So we're in sport mode now, and I'm going to hit the stick all the way forward, and you're going to see this thing, as the drone pitches forward, you're going to see that camera point down. So full stick forward right now, and there again, you see that camera pitch down. But it's still a nice jello-free video. You know, it's good smooth video. The thing is, you're just not controlling the gimbal like you otherwise would. So then I let off, and look at it, pitches up. So we're just gonna pull the stick all the way down, and you're gonna see it pitch up. And there again, as the drone pitches backwards, it points the camera up. So we're at the exact same path. And it still doesn't look too bad. You know, as long as you're steady with it, I think you can make it work. So, yeah, pretty tickled with that. So, gosh, let's see. We're down about 3/4 battery here. We're doing really good on battery on this guy. Let's head out this direction, and then we'll do a return to home. Boy, I'll tell you that I will tell you this: it's a very sensitive yaw. Grab some altitude here, make sure we clear everything. And full stick forward. I don't see anybody in our way there. That's some drainage area right there. That's the perfect spot to test your RC car, isn't it? Your rock climbing car. We're not going to go across that road. We will go over the pond here, though. And there we go. And you saw it pitch up there as we let off the stick. Okay, so tell you what, let's go ahead and do a return to home. And let's see how quick it takes the command. Yeah, and it's coming backwards. I was wondering if it would turn around or what it would do. But it's simply facing the same direction, and it's just coming back to us. And it's moving. Gosh, almost over 9 meters per second there. Holy cow. And now I see it turning a little bit. So because I moved that pad, I don't, you know, we'll just see. We know kind of vaguely where it was at, but let's see where it lands. Let's drop this camera down. We can take a look. And you know, you can see it's pretty close. It's pretty accurate. The GPS on this thing is tremendous. That's pretty close to where we had the pad. Yeah, it's coming right down. It's going to be real close. Okay, I'm going to pick the camera back up. And look at that. We're going to be right on the pad here. So it's coming down right in the middle of the H. It's not too sure. It's looking at it. Oh, then it kind of moved off. It took it a second to shut down. It was funny. I don't know if the optical flow camera, I don't know what happened there, but it kind of just bounced just an inch or two off the pad there for a second. But, you know, that's really close to where it took off. This drone doesn't pretend to have precision landing. So clearly the GPS is very, very accurate. Let me get everything shut down, and we'll do a conclusion. Again, I'm going to remind you, turn off that recording before you shut off the drone. Hey, okay guys, the MJX Bugs 12 or B12 as it's sometimes called, uh, we did well with it today. I felt really good about the way it flew, very stable on takeoff. The optical flow sensor did its job, keeping it very stable. When we took off there, you saw it was very stable, kept its altitude perfectly. And then when we got it up in the air, it flew great. We did go out of range one time. You know, there's a lot of Wi-Fi interference in this area, so I'm gonna blame it on that. I've had other drones lose connection here as well. I suspect if you were out in the country someplace, you would get all the claimed range and probably more than that. But I also want to add the drone did exactly what it's supposed to do. When it lost connection, it did a return to home and came back to us. So that worked well. With regard to stability, from what I could see on the FPV, it looked great. I didn't see any jello or anything on FPV. And I've flown other MJX drones before with electronic image stabilization, so I expect this is going to be the same as those and it's going to be just fine. If I see anything different, I will break into this video right now. Well, you can tell I didn't see anything different, so it's good quality video. Now, that electronic image stabilization, again, it only works when you're in tripod mode, allows it a chance to work. If you're in sport mode, it's going to pitch. You're going to see some pitch forward or pitch back when you're going in reverse. But that's okay. As long as you know that, you're fine. You still get good jello-free video. At this price point, that's pretty tough to beat. This is, again, we're talking about the sub $200 camera drone, GPS camera drone with brushless motors. And at that price point, it's just really phenomenal. What else can I say? Hey, good. This is a great drone to start off with. If you're thinking about getting into camera drones, but you're not ready to spend $500 or $1,000 on a more expensive drone, this is a good place to start and see if you are interested in the hobby, and you'll have fun with this guy in sport mode. You know, it'll do 8 or 9 meters per second. That's about, you know, almost 20 miles an hour, so it moves right along. And it handles very, very well too. I like the way it controls. A little bit quick yaw, but that's all right. You know, that's something that you get used to when you're flying it. We did try a couple of the intelligent flight modes. We tried the orbit mode or circle mode. What I always forget is you have to set the radius before you take off. I didn't do that. So it circled at about probably 5 meters away, but it did a good, perfect circle. So you can use that if you need to. And then the follow me function, it's a GPS follow me, and it works. We proved that. We showed you that it was following me around. I will say this, it's a little bit hard to keep yourself in center frame with that GPS mode as opposed to the optical mode that some more expensive drones have. And again, you wouldn't expect that in this price point. So I've seen this drone for about $179 on banggood.com. I think that's probably a pretty good buy. I'm sure some of the other retailers have it in there too. That's just the one I saw. I will put an affiliate link in the description below. So I guess that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I really do appreciate that you took the time to watch this video today. And of course, we'll see you on the next one. The Bugs 12, MJX Bugs 12. Nice folding camera drone. Bye now.